Rule 42. All persons more than a mile high must leave the court immediately.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Today's rule is rule number 6. Eat more, work out less?
Here we are. Jen and Audrey are currently in the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport in the, what lounge are you in?
Centurion Lounge.
En route to Mexico. So this is a pit stop to record this episode with Danielle Picard.
We can't wait to talk to Danielle.
Can't wait to hear about being fit in your bikini since summer's coming up.
I know I want to.
And we all want that in our lives.
Seriously.
Right, Tommy? I can't wait to see you in your bikini.
I can't wait to get in my bikini, my mankini. Gonna rock that at the Connecticut beach and get all locked.
Banana hammock.
Oh yeah, I'll
Did
pass
James
on.
tell you what I did to him?
No.
Okay,
Here.
so there's a pool in the backyard in Miami.
Okay.
I bought him a special bathing suit.
No, I did not hear this.
And I let him wear it while he had the boys. And yeah, it was one of those bathing suits that it dissolves.
What? Really?
So by the time he got out of the pool, he had nothing on.
There's really such a thing as like a melt-away bathing suit? Oh my God.
Bathing suit.
It's a the stitching dissolves.
Oh no.
So the panels of the bathing suit just fall off.
No way. They came right off like that? Oh, man. Sorry, Jimmy. But on a happier note, here comes Danielle.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Hi, Danielle. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. We can't wait to hear more about you. We know that, summer's around the corner and we're all about getting that body into shape and ready.
Yeah.
And we heard that you're going to give us the way to get there.
Yeah, I will. I got all the tools and tips and tricks. Yeah, we want to get ready for summer.
We do. New York doesn't quite know when summer is, but when it does come, we would like to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I'm in California, so it's like summer all the time here. I love California. I actually lived there for like a year. It's beautiful.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it is so nice here. It's hard to want to go anywhere.
I've never been.
What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have to go.
Yeah, you need to go. It's awesome.
That's one of my trips that's going to happen. I think I was invited to Napa.
Oh, it's San Diego.
San Diego, yes.
That's cool.
I'm
pretty close
to those
San
places.
Diego.
Ooh, to me, baby. Let's see how this goes, man. We don't know if you'll like us, so. But if
I already do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that these need to be cut out in order to get that like summer ready body. I'll get there.
Hey, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Oh, I love her even more.
Then.
Exactly.
Tell us more about you, Danielle.
So I have been a online fitness and nutrition coach for about going on 5 years now. And I have always been into like fitness and nutrition and living a healthy lifestyle. I kind of grew up that way, but I entered into the fitness industry in a very unhealthy way. I mean, I fell claim to all of the like diet culture, crazy marketing schemes that they kind of throw at you. And when I wanted to lose weight, I was like, okay, I'm going to cut out every single thing I love and I'm going to eat salads for every meal. And I was totally miserable. I hated it. And I literally would like sit in my college classes and like daydream about food. I was like, what can I eat next? I just want to eat all the time. Yeah, it was terrible. And obviously I didn't see results because I stuck with that for like maybe a few weeks. So I kind of experienced that myself, and I like to teach through my experiences. And I'm grateful that I went through that. It was rough, but I'm grateful that I did. And since then, I've been doing a lot of basically like education, educating myself on how to properly reach my own goals, as well as help other women do that. And yeah, it's been a long process, but a great journey. And now I kind of coach women on how to ditch the chronic dieting cycle so that they can really truly feel comfortable in their body.
And that's what it's about. It's about the woman feeling comfortable with themselves.
Exactly.
And that's a common like misconception that people think that women do what they do based off of their need of other people
Yeah.
appreciating them, when the reality is we just want to feel good with ourselves. We want to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I love who you are. I love what I see. And
Right.
sometimes, you know, it's not shallow to be concerned about the way you look physically.
No.
It's just
I feel like sometimes
being
you feel
healthy.
comfortable in your clothes and just
Right.
when you go out, you're just like, okay, I feel like I look good. I don't got like rolls hanging out here and there. And
Right. And that, I mean, that also translates to like so many other areas of your life. You know, if you're not feeling comfortable in your clothes, you're probably not going to perform well at your job. You're
Yeah.
probably not going to have like healthy relationships. You're probably going to feel really bad doing things. You're not going to put yourself out there, you know? So
No.
it translates into so many different areas of your life. And I think it's really important that we find that confidence within ourselves, because it's there. We have it, but we have to like build on it and kind of uncover it.
I had someone once tell me, if you don't dress for the day as though you're going into it expecting something from it, then you won't make anything of it, because you're not prepared to make anything of it. If you're just going to throw yourself out there, like looking like,
pajamas.
yeah, just going out in pajamas every day, don't brush your hair, don't look nice at all, then what are you really preparing yourself for? So I love this. And do I know that you're talking about nutrition and stuff, but like we are older, and I am finding as I'm aging, like my body just does not process foods the same way, and I gain weight by looking at it or smelling it or like being around it. And with 6 kids, I'm
Yeah.
constantly around food. So
Oh, wow. Yeah. I hear that a lot. I
yeah,
hear that a lot. And I think also, obviously your body does change as you get older. Like that's a normal thing. It's going to happen. But there's so much that we can do to like mitigate the way that you're feeling, and also like help with symptoms and make sure that you don't feel like you look at food and gain weight. You know, there's a lot that really goes into that. And part of it is eating really low calories, which is something that I see so frequently is women, they just constantly undereat because that's all we're told. That's all society tells us is like,
Yeah.
be thin, be lean, eat less to get that way. And I see that so frequently. Like when I have my clients calculate or track their calories, they're like, what the heck? I didn't know I was eating 1,000 calories. I'm like, yeah, that's why you can't lose weight. And that's also why you feel like crap. Like we know there's something going on here. And then when I tell them how many calories they have to eat, which is like double that, they're like, what? That's crazy. Like I never even thought I would be able to do that. I'm like, yes, this is why it could be so beneficial to like go through tracking your calories, or even just like recognizing how much you're eating right now. So yeah, very, very common.
yeah, and it's the culture too. The culture. My daughter, both of our daughters are all-star cheerleaders, and my daughter was a flyer for years. And this past year, they didn't even try her. And when she asked about it, because she did ask, you know what she was told? She's too heavy.
Oh no.
And that's
It's
the craziest part, that she was like, Mom, they didn't even try me, and I'm not much bigger than the other girls, so I don't know what's wrong. And
Oh,
it
that's
was,
so sad.
it had a lot to do with like just physically, like she's just not the other girls. Yeah, she might have been shorter than them, but they were like that.
Yeah.
And she's mixed. She's Puerto Rican and black, so she's got a little body to her.
I feel like muscle also weighs a little more. So like when you're
Yes.
when you're stronger and you're muscular, you're gonna weigh more.
So we did have another girl that was on their team that was actually on the team with the 2 girls, and she ended up in a very bad mental space because she had always wanted to be a flyer. And as a base, which is the person who picks up the flyer, she always got yelled at and was told, like, you know, hey, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. So she thought when she became a flyer, it would be easier. And then they started telling her, you're too heavy. The girls can't pick you up. And what did she start doing? She stopped eating.
Yeah, right. Like what you know, what you think you know to do to make yourself smaller is, well, I'm just not going to eat, which is so, that's so sad at like such a young age.
Oh my God. And it progressed to her. Like, luckily she belonged. she's in a family that's very conscientious of what's going on and has been able to help her, and she's in a much different place now. But the fact that she's where she is now versus where she was, because I think her period had stopped everything. And it was from just that crash dieting of, well, if I'm too heavy, then I need to be thinner. We want to be healthy, but we want to do it the right way, the way you do it.
Yeah. But then there's so much of society that just kind of like perpetuates that idea and that like thin ideal too. I mean, I think we have largely gotten away from that a little bit. Like we've shifted more towards like accepting bigger bodies and people, there's way more people who work out now than previously and accepting like building muscle and stuff like that. But I think there's still that like thin ideal. And so especially in those industries, like those sports industries where it's like better to be thinner or it's more favorable, like that's where it can get so detrimental. And that's like, if she didn't have a family who like caught that early on, that could have like transformed into something so dangerous for later on.
Oh,
It's so scary.
Yeah.
So we did say that we're older. So how would you guide a 40 plus? I'm 40. In terms of making the right life choices with nutrition and their health.
There's so much. Yeah, there's so much. I think one of the most important things that you can do, which I already kind of mentioned, is to understand what you're eating and how much you're eating. Because that plays a very, very large role in like the symptoms and the things that you feel and experience on a day-to-day basis. And literally every single thing you feel, like every symptom or experience you have, there is an explanation for it. There is a reason why you feel like that. And a large part of the time, it's because of your nutrition or your sleep, your stress levels, things like that. So first of all, like understanding what you're eating, how much you're eating. The best way to do that is through tracking your calories. Now, we don't want you to have to track your calories for the rest of your life. It just gives us like an understanding of where you're at now and also helps provide structure if you do have a goal that you want to reach. So if you're like, well, I do want to lose weight and maybe I want to build a little bit of muscle, that's going to help provide that structure. And then there are a few other factors too that you want to address. Stress, so incredibly important. If you're not addressing your stress levels, you quite literally cannot reach any goal that you have when it comes to like body composition. And that's often very overlooked. So stress management and recognizing like how stress impacts you and your life, how you manage and cope with stress. Also sleep, like I mentioned, going to make reaching your goals also 100 times harder if you're not getting enough sleep. There's so much that goes on like with your hormones when it comes to stress and sleep and nutrition. And some other like small factors that kind of play into it are like your digestion and stuff like that. But that can also be addressed with simply your nutrition. And that's why I say that first, is because if you focus on those things with your nutrition, a large part of the time, it's going to impact all these other areas of your life. Like it will help with your stress levels. It'll help with the way that your body's recovering. It'll help with your sleep, so you can sleep better. It'll help with your digestion. You have better digestion. You're able to like absorb nutrients better. So kind of like seeps into all of these other different places.
That's amazing. I mean, it's a little hard when you're a mom.
Yeah.
Because the sleep patterns get broken up by your children. It's not like I'm choosing to sleep less. I have an 18-month-old home, and last night he was sleeping on top of my head. And I am the type that I can't sleep with people touching me. I sweat. I'm old. I think I'm going through menopause. Who knows?
Yeah,
and
valid concern.
He moved, so I did try to move, and he woke up and started walking around the house looking for me at 4:00 in the morning, and I'm like, "No, you suck."
Yeah, that really makes it more challenging.
It does make it so challenging, and that's like where, kind of motherhood and like goes in terms of like your stress and your sleep and like it affects all of these different things that end up affecting how we look physically. But you're saying like your nutrition plays a huge factor. Like, are there like pre-made type things that you direct people towards, or is it something where you just kind of like develop a habit and a routine where you just start to know within your lifestyle, this is kind of where I needed to be with stress or yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I think what's really important. So I am not a believer in like meal plans and things like that because they're like a band-aid. I mean, you get a meal plan and you're like, I have to follow this for the rest of my life. Like that's kind of really hard to do. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So every time anybody gets off a meal plan, they like, totally go back to where they were previous. Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Or not in, and you gain all the weight back.
Yeah. They're like, I didn't learn anything. So I think it's really important to like actually learn what to do with your nutrition and how to make food choices that are not going to make you feel guilty or like impact your relationship with food. And part of that is also like understanding, like I was saying, what you're eating and how much you're eating. So that's where I think calorie tracking can be really, really beneficial is like understanding, okay, this is what I need to eat. Now I'm paying attention to like, these are the macros that I need to focus on, the calories that are going to make me feel my best. And then once I have that understanding, I know how to read food labels. I know what this looks like. Then I can make food choices based off of that. So that I think in itself kind of helps create those habits for that like long-term nutrition, basically like figuring out your nutrition long-term and food choices long-term. And I'm also, like I was saying, a big believer in balance and having things that are going to make you feel good and enjoying those things and figuring out how they fit into your lifestyle. And I find the more that we restrict them, like I experienced myself, the more that we restrict them and tell ourselves not to have them, the more we want them and the more we binge.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the minute your brain is told, don't do this, you're like,
yeah, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to touch that red button right there.
Right. Exactly.
How do you balance it between like nutrition and like working out?
Yeah, that's a good question. You would be surprised, and most of my clients are also surprised. Sometimes I don't even have my clients work out at first. And that's because they would see more progress by simply focusing on stress management and also their nutrition.
Okay.
Because there's like so much there's so much that goes into it that it's like can be really overwhelming and complicated. And that doesn't mean like I don't want them moving their bodies. Of course, I want them to move their bodies and maybe do some walking and things like that, stuff that makes them feel good. But oftentimes I don't introduce workouts until like later on, until they're like comfortable with that. We have their stress levels down because working out is a stressor in itself. We don't want to increase those stress levels even more and make them, feel crappy even more. So we're kind of trying to like reduce those effects. And then I'll add those on later on. And then by that point, they've kind of already navigated their nutrition a little bit. So they kind of got that down. So the workouts are not as like overwhelming to try to introduce and do. And I'm also not a person, as you could probably tell from what I've been talking about, I'm not a person who's gonna be like work out 5, 6, 7 times per week. If anything, I'm like work out less and you'll see more progress. So that's exactly what we want.
I do like this idea. It's not even an idea. She actually like proves that it works. So, I mean, I have actually seen these videos now that are floating around the internet where it shows you the difference in what like 4 hours of sleep means for like bloating, what 6 hours of sleep, what 8 hours of sleep means. And it's insane. And it actually like seeing the reality behind that made me want to sleep more because like I need to sleep.
Right.
Please, thank you.
Yeah.
It does make a difference. It totally makes a difference when you're sleeping. And I actually did notice because I was trying to lose weight and I started like exercising every day for 2 hours in the morning and then an hour maybe later at night, depending on what my daughter had going on. And I was dieting. And I was the same weight. It would not move. Maybe I'd lose like a pound, but then the next day I'd be back. It would not move. It didn't matter what I was doing. And other people were telling me that they saw a difference, but I didn't see a difference. So it kind of like negated, I guess the positive would have come out from it.
Right.
Because I stopped.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a difference, and it had been about 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
it's
like, I like
frustrating.
food.
Yeah.
It-
I mean, I had a client who went through something similar, and what happened was like we threw her into a deficit, and she was working out like 4 times per week. She was doing activities on the weekend like hiking, kayaking, and she wasn't losing weight. She, in a span of like 3-4 months, she lost maybe like a few pounds, and we were like, what the heck is happening? So then I brought her back up to her maintenance, like increased her calories. We cut out the activity because basically what was happening is her body was under too much stress. And when your body's under too much stress, it can't recover. And it's really hard to actually lose weight when you're not recovering. So when we did that and we dropped her back down into a deficit and took out these extra activities, she lost like 2 pounds in the first few weeks. So she saw like, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy how that happened, and like how much it solidified like stress management and like making sure you're not doing too much is so important. And a lot of people kind of just go to the extreme when they want to lose weight. Like you kind of thought, you were like, I'm going to do all the stuff to lose weight.
Yes.
I want to lose it like yesterday. So yeah, you don't see progress. And you're like, well, that didn't work. What the heck am I supposed to do?
Go eat the burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. I went and got a burger and fries. I'm like, fuck it.
Right.
Apparently I can eat whatever I want because I'm not losing it. But then I started gaining more and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Frustrating.
That's not what was supposed to happen. I broke it.
So if like, let's say one of us was your client, what would the first week look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have 3 phases in my program. And the first phase is where we are basically working on like understanding where you're currently at, and building your metabolism to eventually put you into a diet, because I don't want to throw you into a diet right away. I need to understand where you're at. And then we also you basically need to earn the right to diet. And this is what a lot of people experience, where their brain and their body are in 2 different places. Their brain is like, weight loss, we're going to do the thing. We're going to see so much progress. And their body's like, girl, what? No, like, we're not in any place to be losing weight right now. Like, we're going to make this like so much harder. Yeah, we're going to make it so much harder for you. You're going to feel like you're watching paint dry. So we don't want any of that. So in that first phase, we're making sure that we are assessing your nutrition, your activity, your biofeedback. So things like your cravings, your digestion, your hunger levels. We're looking at all of these things on a daily basis to see exactly what do we need to work on. Where do we need to bridge the gap for you to actually see results? You know, what's been going on? Why have you not been seeing progress? So that's kind of like what the first phase really initially looks like.
How long does the first phase technically take?
It depends. It really depends on the person. And it depends on like what we need to do with your nutrition. Like if you've been eating really low calories for a super long time, that means we have to go into a reverse diet, which basically means increase your calories up to your maintenance. That process can take a while. So that's kind of still, we're in the first phase. That second phase is where we're like dropping down into a deficit and you're losing fat. So the first phase can take somewhat of a while. It really depends on where your body's at. But at least a month you stay there, and maybe if not longer than that. But again, there's so much that can happen like within that first phase of learning like what your nutrition actually should look like. How do we implement workouts into this situation? How do we work on stress management at the same time? Your sleep, you know, there's so much that happens within that phase. It's also like goes into, you're basically like building the foundation for the second and third phases.
I love that. But like, do you never get to cut loose without like gaining all your weight back?
Yes, exactly. So that's why I have all of the phases. So the last phase is where we basically work on lifestyle integration. So most people don't actually have weight loss problems. They have weight maintenance problems. They don't understand how to maintain the weight that they've lost, right? Mm-hmm. So most people get on a diet and then they're like killing it, losing all the weight. They get off the diet, gain all the weight back, because no diet ever tells you this is what you need to do in order to maintain this progress that you've seen. So that's my last phase, is lifestyle integration, like I said. So this is where I teach my clients how to basically live their life, you know, have fun, go out, to dinner, go out on vacation, holidays, things like that, make food choices and still maintain the weight that they've lost. So really what goes into that is like understanding how these habits will lead to like long-term success and what they actually look like within your lifestyle. So like meshing those two things together.
And what about like, let's say drinking or like smoking pot? You live in California.
Yeah. I'm actually from Colorado. So I moved to California. When I moved to California.
Oh, what?
You I'm like, just because I lived in Colorado doesn't mean I smoke, but okay. So I will say, alcohol really does nothing for your body. There are no positive things that come from it, and it really does a lot of negative stuff. And if you do have goals that you want to reach, it can be really, really harmful. I mean, your body takes, I think it's like 24 to 48 hours to process alcohol. So when it's doing that, it's not processing anything else. It's really only processing the alcohol. It takes that much time to actually like metabolize alcohol. So if you're trying to lose fat at the same time, your body's not going to go through metabolizing fat. It's not going to go through losing fat, which is really important to understand. And I've seen that happen with some of my clients who are drinking frequently and they just can't lose weight because of that. Even like with all the things accounted for, that's just the one thing that's holding them back. So I think if you're having it in moderation, it can be something that, obviously you want to enjoy your life and that's going to help you like stick with things long term. But if you are really trying to have like the ultimate health, it's probably not going to be the best for you. Pot, on the other hand, I'm not sure how much of an effect that has on like health overall. I haven't done much research on that. But if it's making you eat more, that could potentially be like, a negative.
No. So there are strains out there that don't actually have the chemical makeup that gives you that urge to eat more. There are ones that just kind of create that. Yeah.
Happy.
Without making you hungry.
Right. I think it comes down to like understanding how it's impacting your health and whether or not you feel like that impact is something that you want to live with. And that like, I think you have to kind of like educate yourself and make an informed decision for yourself and say like, okay, this is actually really negatively impacting my health and or like my life and maybe not something I want to continue doing. But if you're like, I have a client who recognized that when she was drinking once a week, she felt terrible. She couldn't sleep. The next day she felt like crap. And she was like, I think this is maybe something I just don't want to do anymore. Like now that I'm aware of these things and recognizing how it makes me feel, I'm not sure if I even want to drink anymore. So, I think it's about having that like awareness and making those informed decisions for yourself.
Well, in anything that we do, I feel like the most common thread is that you need a cheerleader. You need someone kind of there, kind of telling you, hey, by the way, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Didn't remember. Because that's honestly the only way that I've made it. Like, I know, like, it's so easy to be like, hey, this is how I'm going to do things. And I'm going to do everything right. And be the awesomest person ever. And, unfortunately, we all screw that up somehow or another. But when you have someone behind you being like, hey, that was kind of a dickhead move. Thought you were being a better person. That's when you fix things. And it's the same thing when you're dieting and exercising. And when I go to the gym by myself, it's kind of like, but like when I go with my friends, that's when I actually get stuff done.
Yeah.
Everyone needs someone behind them, telling them. And that's essentially what you become for people. You are their voice of reason. You are their you are their little Jimmy Cricket on their shoulder. But we all need somebody like that in our lives in order to get further. And I
totally agree. Yeah, I think there's like so much to be said about having like a support system or an accountability system. I think you need both in your life. I think support is really there for like lifting you up and telling you like, you're doing amazing. I'm supporting you throughout this whole process. And then there are those people who will hold you accountable. Like a coach will have your best interest in mind and say, hey, you did this, but maybe that was not the best choice. Maybe there's something else that you should do. Whereas like the supportive people in your life are not always going to be pushing against that. They're going to be like, oh, you don't want to go to the gym? Me neither. Let's just hang out. So it's important to have like, I think it's important to have both of those things in your life. Like the people who will hold you accountable and the people who will just support you and be there with you.
But we all need that. And I feel like it's awesome that you're that for so many people, like for your clients. Like I happen to have that in a friend. I also happen to have that in like a lot of coaching that I have in my life because, I'm a rep. But you become that for people that maybe don't have that because not everybody has a Jen in their life. Not everybody has a Tommy in their life that uses Mike. Tommy's like, me?
No, I'm letting you guys talk. And I know you're focusing on women, but I think one thing to talk about is teen girls because you guys are moms of teenagers. I have teenage daughters.
Yeah.
And maybe we could talk with Danielle about that a little bit because they have such issues.
Body image, I know, is they're always so self-conscious about their bodies and not doing the right thing to feel comfortable and just like knowing what foods to eat and stuff like that. I know is hard because like as a teenager, you want to eat the Taco Bell and the ice cream and the cookies and more fitness coming out and stuff. And
I think
find that balance for that.
I think also so much of that is like comes from your parents and then also like your environment. So like your friends and the people you're surrounded by. Because I look back on my teenage years and I remember I had friends who like on purpose would not bring anything for lunch. And I felt weird like bringing my food for lunch because like my friends would not eat. And I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't be eating. And then that kind of like gets into your head and makes you think like, well, if I want to look like X, Y, and Z, maybe I should just like not bring a lunch, So I think there's like so much that kind of plays into that with like society and your friends and your parents and all that stuff.
I'm having an issue with my 9-year-old.
Really?
She was a little bigger in terms of rounder. And all of a sudden she got taller, but she also thinned out. And I don't know if people started to like say stuff to her because she was thinner now or what happened, but all of a sudden I have my 9-year-old doing like Chloe Ting videos. These like workout videos and you can hear her doing them. She started like watching what she was eating. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah. And I keep having the conversation because her father keeps on being like, there's something going on. I'm really having to push her to eat. And she's always been like healthy. So even growing up, like when she was a baby, she was in daycare and they had to feed her extra fruit and vegetables because she's not a meat eater. But she never has been, and neither are her siblings. They'll eat it every now and then, but they're not like going crazy over it. But she stopped all of that, started limiting anything that she thought, I guess, would cause weight gain, and really getting into these videos and doing these workouts. And she's 9. And I just don't and she's got a beautiful body. Like she's gorgeous. I just don't know what's going. And I've asked her, like, are people saying things to you at school? Like, what's going on, babe? Like you're beautiful. Like, what are you doing? And she's like, no, I'm doing this to like maintain a healthy lifestyle. And I'm like, well, you're not. And 9, I was hiding candy under my bed. Like, what is wrong with you?
9 going on 19. Dang.
Yeah. I mean, she's also the youngest daughter out of 3 girls, but 7 kids. So I don't know how much that plays on it.
Right. Yeah, and that's really tough. I mean, it's sad to see from like your perspective of like you see her as like someone who's so beautiful. You think she's like perfect the way that she is, but like there's something in her brain that's telling her maybe like I need to change some of these things. Yeah. I think maybe like from your perspective, if you were to like educate her a little bit more, she might be more like receptive of, oh, this food isn't necessarily bad for me. Like this food is actually going to help me do X, Y, and Z. Like maybe that piece of education will help her see like I'm maybe not doing the right things, or maybe not like it's not helpful. But
do you have a book?
Sticky situation? No, I don't.
Well, you have a great voice in terms of like how to train the brain in terms of what our expectations are based off of what our environment is telling us, as opposed to what the reality is. You should write a book.
Okay, you've planted the seed. The seed will grow.
You should totally, because my daughter, I actually think that would be something even, I mean, look, my 9-year-old is comprehending things that I never even thought to look into. So having somewhere to direct her in terms of, hey, you know what, let's like rework on the way that you're thinking about these things. It's hard to find something like that, but I feel like that's where you are. You're very like, you don't have to stop eating. You just have to be healthier about the decisions that you make. And I think that goal is much better than I want to look like the airbrushed people on the magazines. Like, no, you should see we planted the seed. Now you got to write it.
All right, you guys will be the first to know.
I'm gonna have to. My daughter's gonna have to read it.
So how can people contact you, or how would they find out more information about you? Looking.
Yeah. So I do have a Facebook group. It's called Fat Loss Tips and Tricks for Busy Women. That's a really great place to just get a lot of resources and information. Yeah, I have a ton of free stuff in there. I literally give away so much free shit. Like, you would be astounded at how much free shit I give away. So if you want free shit and come to my Facebook group. That is where you want to be.
Danielle's your girl.
Awesome, she got you.
Free shit, Danielle got you.
In your bikini.
Yeah. And then my Instagram and TikTok are both the same, Danielle Picard Fit. So that's where you can find me on those. And then,
yeah. Like, I just found you. I'm following.
yay.
Hey. Wait, why can't I find it?
Tommy sent us a link before to it. You could just click on the link.
Oh, that's why.
Flip on that.
You think I pay attention to you, Tommy? Come on.
Appreciate that.
Oh, that's a Danielle.
I got you.
I love your picture.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Ooh, girl, get it. Yes, I would love to look like you. Thank you very much.
Seriously. We will follow.
That is, see, I come in as least prepared as possible because otherwise I get very nervous. And now I'm like, damn, girl, get it. What?
I love that.
What? Look, I'm giving away 3 months of free coaching. Yes. It was such a pleasure talking to you. We are roll 42. We are at 42 minutes.
It was very nice to meet you. And you definitely got a great information.
It was so nice to meet you guys too. Thanks so much.
We totally did.
Yeah.
And we have how to get in contact with you.
Yeah.
You guys are so much fun.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to have to hit you up because holy crap.
Heck yeah. I'll be awaiting your messages.
I have them goals, so.
More than happy to help.
Yes. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3, 42.
That was so cool. We love Danielle.
We do. I feel like she gave us a lot of good info and just kind of like changing your whole lifestyle to be able to lose weight, which I like. Because sometimes you don't think about stress and the stuff like that, the outside factors.
Stress and sleep are really important. And those are things I'm sure all three of us and anyone listening probably needs more of. Less stress, more sleep, especially
I
parents.
feel like the whole world needs that.
Not teenagers.
Oh, well, no. Then
All three of us.
hello.
Probably everyone sitting around
Their
us.
best lives.
Oh no, those motherfuckers won't wake up.
Oh, it's a family show. Come on, Audrey.
What it is?
Sleep.
Son of a bitch.
Anyway, I want to congratulate you guys because we pulled off. You guys did the show in transit. As we said at the top, you're in
I know. Even like missing
You down here.
you're in Hartsfield Airport. People are walking by. Look at that. But she's doing great work helping women feel better. And what she said was great. Eat more, work less. I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
Definitely. Oh my God, who doesn't want that?
I want that, and I want to look.
Work out less. That is our main goal in life.
I know. We all want to look good in a bikini.
And you
Yeah,
guys,
we want to see your main bikini, bro.
that's true. I'm gonna get the one you got. You got Jimmy, the dissolving one.
I got you.
Left.
What size are you?
Yeah. So no thanks.
They had pineapples on it too.
Oh my God. That's an image. That's a vision. But
That's an image.
you guys are off to Mexico now, in what? In just a few minutes.
Well, yeah. Shit, what time do we board?
I think. No, we have time.
So that was a great.
5:50. 5 something.
You're cutting it close, but this was a great show with Danielle. This was a great show with Danielle Picard, and you can reach her through her Facebook group
Nice.
and on Instagram. And next we'll hear from you guys will be in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. Cancun.
And anybody
Can't
listening,
wait.
we also have a YouTube channel where we have great videos up, and there'll be more coming as the girls chronicle their adventures and jellyfish. So just go check
More
it out. It's
jellyfish.
Rule 42 on YouTube,
Jellyfish.
We're more than just jellyfish.
and lots to be seen, lots more to come. So keep listening,
Yeah.
leave us a review, and excellent job, ladies.
Rule 42.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Rule 42 is hosted by Audrey Cruz and Jen Burke. It is produced and edited by Tom Smith. The opening song is Rule 42 by Eddie Carr. Rule 42's artwork was created by Aubrey Cruz. And I'm your announcer, Molly Smith. Thank you for listening to Rule 42. We hope you enjoyed the show. New episodes premiere every Thursday on all podcast platforms. Please subscribe, share the show, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple.